Ready? Ready?
Nope, one moment.
Okay.
Hello. I kept signing in and nothing happened.
Fun.
So I don't know what that was all about.
You're here now. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Good to go.
Good evening, everyone. I am Robert Cristiano, Chairman of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is Wednesday, January 14th. Today's meeting is a regular meeting of the commission being held virtually via Zoom. I call the meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
and
with liberty, justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Castro, will you please conduct the roll call?
Alternate Commissioner Bertola,
Present.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Present.
Commissioner Harcher,
Present.
Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner Motto. Here. Commissioner McGee,
Present.
Commissioner Opple,
Here.
Commissioner Ticky,
Here.
myself, Alexandria, Assistant Administrator, Dominic Giganchi, Professional Engineer,
Present.
Attorney Ava Martino, Land Use Assistant,
Present.
Stenographer Stephanie Charbonneau,
Present.
our recording secretary is not here at this time, and she'll be able to review the meeting via YouTube.
Everybody? So the
Do
first,
we have Attorney Teodoso with us this evening?
no, we do not.
Okay.
The first item on the agenda is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to discuss an item that is not on today's agenda may do so by using Zoom's raise your hand feature or by dialing 9 on your phone. All speakers will be allowed up to 5 minutes to speak. Please speak clearly, state your name for the record when called upon for the recording secretary. Ms. Castro, is there anyone indicating they wish to be heard?
I will be permitting Mr. Tom Harbinson to speak. Can unmute himself.
Go ahead, Mr. Harbinson.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Terrific. My discussion item relates to an 824 referral that you have on your agenda. Would you be able to provide the latitude for me to speak to that?
Sir, we will not be able to discuss any items that are on the agenda for this evening. I'm sorry.
Okay. I will say that very briefly then, that item is moot as the mayoral administration. Okay, I can't apply for it. Well, it's already been approved by the state without your reference and without the Board of Aldermen's reference. So you have all been lied to by the mayor. Thank you very much.
Ms. Castro, is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the commission?
Mr. Chairman, before you go any further, I just think that for the good of the commission, it should be noted that Mr. Harbinson did continue to speak about an item on the agenda, and all of those comments should be disregarded.
I agree. Ms. Castro, is there anyone else?
No.
Okay. That concludes the public comment portion. Next item on the agenda are applications for certificate of zoning compliance. Commissioner Moto, I understand that the sign committee has met regarding the two applications listed on the agenda on Tuesday, January 6th. What is the recommendation of the subcommittee?
That's correct. The first sign, are we gonna be able to see this? Everybody gonna be able to see the sign? Is that gonna be?
That's not my intention if the
Not?
sign
Okay.
committee pulls that
Okay,
over.
that's fine. The first sign was for the Blush Book Lounge, which is downtown, basically across from the Chaplin Restaurant.
Mhm.
And we had no issue with that, but I did ask Ava to take a look. I had just driven by there recently and there was a lot of decoration in the windows. So it seemed like it was a lot. So I don't know if she was able to take a look at that and has any feedback for us on that.
Ms.
Yeah, I was.
Martinez? Yep,
Oh, can you hear me?
yep.
Yeah, I was. So they're seasonal decorations. They're kind of just writing with like the marker, the paint marker. So she's going to be taking it down shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I hate to interrupt, but just because of the fact that this particular, all of our meetings are on YouTube, and if anyone wanted to go back, they wouldn't be able to visualize the signs. I think any material that is presented should be viewed on the screen for documentation.
Well, it's really, I mean, all the documents are uploaded to the city's website. As we have applications that are coming in, we're not going to be reviewing every single document that is presented before us.
Well, I just feel that the public should have the ability to look at the sign. We don't have to linger on them, but I think that they should be able to see them as when we're discussing them. Yeah, I
Thank you.
understand the your desire to keep meetings moving along, but I think that you're putting the public at a disadvantage when they have to go back outside of a meeting to see a sign that's over a storefront.
Ms. Castro, can you pull up the sign?
Sure.
Please. It's 2555. Okay, does any commissioner have any questions regarding this sign?
So is this some of the stuff that's in the window, like that white sign that says CT banned?
No, this was after. This is what I had seen was after this photo. It was kind of like paint, paint in the window, something like what that restaurant did at the Pierpont.
Right, right.
I only glanced at it going by, but it seemed to be a lot of the window.
Right, but is the signs, that sign still there, that CT band instrument one? Service?
No, that's
No.
currently.
Good, okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Amato, the next sign, 2556.
Okay, this is the market, as it's now called. This is occupation of the former,
IGA.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Wasn't, anyway, yeah, blanked out on the name of what it was. Yeah, so the signs were fine. They're really very much like what was there before, in terms of size, location. And we were all kind of happy to see that that facility is occupied again with a food market. And we did ask Ava to ask about whether they were going to be adding a monument sign, and apparently they're not. I believe that's correct, Ava. You had
Correct. Yeah. At this moment, they don't feel that they need a monument sign currently. So it's not going to be proposed at the moment.
There are two monument signs on the property on the Leavenworth Road entrance. One is very old, and there had been a proposal to the owner of the property that that one be removed because a newer one that was better lit had been installed. So if there is, if I can't imagine that Key Foods would not want some signage on that monument sign on Leavenworth Road.
They do not intend to at this time.
I think they've been told that they'd have to come back,
Right,
correct? They'd
right.
have to come back with the
Correct.
application for that.
Mhm.
Is the Adams portion of the monument sign going to remain then?
No, it's currently gone at the moment.
Okay.
Good. Well, if there's nobody else that has any comments, I'll make a motion to approve and both signs as presented.
I'll
Second.
second it.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion passes 6-0. The next item on the agenda is for a public hearing. Prior to the public hearing, I'd like to share the protocol. Ms. Castro will indicate if any written comments were received from members of the public no later than 24 hours before the start of this evening's meeting. If written comments were received, they'll be read into the record. The applicant or its associates will make their presentation. The commission may ask questions during the presentation or at its conclusion. The applicant and/or their associates can answer commission's questions at the time they are presented or at the conclusion of the presentation. Any member of the public wishing to address the commission on this application during the public portion may do so by using Zoom's raise your hand feature or by dialing *9 on your phone. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to present comments, which should address specific criteria of the zoning regulations, the merits of the application, and be new information, not a repeat of comments presented by a previous speaker. Comments and questions should be directed to the Planning and Zoning Commission, not the applicant or his associates. Members of the public are expected to practice appropriate etiquette by being quiet, observant, and respectful. Disruptive attendees may be removed from verbally participating. The applicant's attorney and/or associates will be given the opportunity to address any comments or questions from the public after the last person from the public has been given the opportunity to speak. If the commission feels further information is needed from the applicant, the chair will ask for a motion to continue the public hearing. If a public hearing remains open, the commission is not allowed to make any public comment, discuss any part of the applicant's and/or his associate's presentation, or receive additional information from anyone. If the commission feels the applicant and/or associates have answered all the questions and have addressed all concerns from the Planning and Zoning Commission and/or the public hearing will close. The Planning and Zoning Commission reserves the right to discuss the application at the close of the public hearing or to schedule a discussion at an upcoming Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At either time, the commission will be asked by the chair on how it wants to proceed. The public hearing is for application ZBO 25-138, Dominic Thomas for MJ's Ammo Saloon at 514 Bridgeport Avenue, located within PDD 48 for an expansion of use to existing business operations to include a live fire gun range. Commissioner Amato, would you please read aloud the legal notice for this application?
Well, I would, but I don't have it.
I'm sorry, I thought I sent it to you.
Well, you may have.
I
Let's see.
apologize.
So it's
I
email.
sent
No,
it
you-
this morning.
Oh, sorry. Or so it's under your name?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Well,
We can resend it to you so it's at the top.
yeah, something weird is happening with my email. Try again.
Just resent it.
Could still be the Verizon effect.
Yeah, well, I look up Alexandra and I come up with tingling numbness. That's not good. Sorry. Something has been hacked somewhere. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, application ZBO, is that what we're doing? Yeah.
Yes.
Dash 25-138, Dominic Thomas for MJ's Ammo Saloon at 514 Bridgeport Avenue, Assessors Map 51, Lot 10, located within PDD number 48, for an expansion of use to existing business operations to include a live fire range. Property is generally bound as follows: northerly by 504 Bridgeport Avenue, easterly by 47 Bridgeport Avenue, southerly by 0 Bridgeport Avenue, or Assessor's Map 50, Lot 15, westerly by 515 Bridgeport Avenue. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Kasha, will you please read aloud the exhibits within the file and inform the commission of any other items that have been submitted for the record, received no later than 24 hours before the start of this evening's meeting that need to be acknowledged for the record?
First exhibit is the application submitted on November 13th, 2025. Exhibit 1 is the range area floor plan, also submitted on November 13th. Next exhibit is the certificate of zoning appliance for the original approval from March 19th, 2025. There is a email landlord confirmation submitted on November 13th, 2025.
Ms. Castro, can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
That is not for the live fire range, according to what I'm reading.
It
That
is
is simply for a
only-
firearms business.
It is
correct?
only for the retail portion.
Right, so we don't have landlord approval for the live fire.
Let me finish going through here and then you guys can do that. Location within the property plan, there's a photo also submitted November 13th. Exhibit 5 is a email correspondence regarding the commission site visit and notice submitted December 30th, 2025. Exhibit 6 is the mailing list and certificate of mailing submitted January 7th, 2026. Exhibit 7 is the sign posting photos. Exhibit 8 is the correspondence with the Town of Guilford Planning Department submitted on January 8th. Exhibit 9 is a letter from Wild Kanji submitted January 13th. Exhibit 10 is the range layout plan submitted January 13th. Exhibit 11 is a letter from M&O submitted January 13th. Exhibit 12 is a email with the Orange ZEO submitted January 13th. These are the exhibits as of the close of business yesterday.
Thank you. Before we begin the public hearing on this application, I will provide a recap for this application. Please bear with me because there's a lot of information I'd like to recap. In March of 2025, this commission approved MJ's Auto Saloon as a retail gun store at 514 Bridgeport Avenue, including classroom-based training using non-live fire systems. At that time, the adjacent tenant space was not available, and a live fire range was not physically feasible. The approval reflected the business model that would exist within the space then available. On December 10th, the commission first heard the applicant's request to expand into the now vacant adjacent space to add an indoor live fire shooting range connected internally to the existing store. The applicant explained that the adjacent space has since become available, making the expansion physically possible. That the state of Connecticut now requires live fire qualification for pistol permit certification. Without access to a live fire range, the business cannot obtain or maintain the necessary certification to provide the training contemplated in the March approval. Other ranges in the region will not accommodate outside instructors. The range is therefore proposed as an accessory use to the existing retail business, not as a standalone public range. Through the applicant's attorney, the applicant requested that the range be processed as an expansion of use accessory to the existing business. Corporation Counsel advised the commission had advised that the commission had several procedural avenues available and highlighted two primary paths for discussion. Treat the proposal as an expansion of use to the existing business with the range as an accessory use subject to commission regulation, or require a major modification to the PDD, amending the statement of uses and standards to allow live fire ranges as an accessory use within the district. The commission discussed this and discussed that the original March 25 approval expressly contemplated non-live fire training. Live fire represents a meaningful change in operational impact, particularly regarding noise. Neighboring businesses and employees could be affected. Even if treated as an accessory use, the commission retains full authority to regulate the construction, sound mitigation, and operational conditions. A public hearing could be required even if processed as an accessory use. Some key issues identified during the meeting by the commission: the need for a professional acoustical analysis, detailed construction specification for walls, materials, and sound, confirmation that hours would match the existing approved business, written landlord authorization for a live fire range, opportunity for neighbors and tenants to be heard. The applicant then agreed to operate the range only during the store's approved hours, provide detailed construction plans and sound mitigation data, retain a professional acoustical engineer, provide written landlord consent, supply additional documentation before the public hearing. On December 10th, the commission voted to accept the application as an expansion of a use accessory to the existing business
No,
approved.
no.
Commission,
That wasn't the
let me
motion.
finish.
That wasn't the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Let me finish. On December 10th, the commission voted to accept the application as an expansion of use accessory to the existing business approved in March 2025, and directed that the matter proceed to a public hearing with additional technical information and notice to surrounding tenants. This public hearing represents a continuation of that review, providing the opportunity for additional information, public input, and commission consideration before any discussion. So before I get to that, give me a moment. I'll read exactly what the motion was. Commissioner Oppo. And I quote, your motion was, I make a motion that we agree to accept the application of MJ's Ammo for an expanded use at 514 Bridgeport Avenue, and that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Shelton will hold a public hearing regarding said expansion, and that the applicant will.
I believe I said for their expanded use, not the expanded use.
I listened to the audio several times, and that's what it said. Okay? So regardless, that's where we stand at this point, okay? So, will the applicant please identify yourself for the record and proceed with the presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Dominic Thomas, Conan Thomas, 350 Main Street, Derby, Connecticut, representing the applicant. I would also request of Alexandria that Mr. Tyler Musser and Mr. Joseph Ator, if they are in the waiting rooms, to please be admitted. They would be part of the presentation.
I was able to add Tyler if okay, got it. Thank you.
That may be Vibra Sciences. It may show up as Vibra Sciences.
We're all set.
Okay. I'll address first the issue of the approval of the landlord. I think, as I explained the last time, I am also the attorney for the landlord, and the landlord has no objection. He was the one who referred this to me, obviously, to do it. However, and I will take the blame for it, I may not have forwarded this either to to Alexandria, but if I can screen share, Alexandria, am I okay to screen share?
Yes.
Okay. There is this is, if you can see it, this is an email that was sent to me. He resent it tonight. It was sent on January 6th, in which he would seek his approval as the representative of Crown Point Associates of Shelton, LLC, is the owner of Crown Point Plaza. He approves it. As I said, I represented it as their attorney, that it is approved, but in addition to that, we have an email, which I can paperwork by uploading it. There's no issue with the landlord.
Aren't these required, though, Mr. Chairman, to be uploaded prior to the meeting to be considered?
Yes.
So then we shouldn't consider this document.
Okay, okay, this is what we're gonna do, okay? It's a Zoom meeting. If you want, we're gonna hold our commission comments to after the presentation. Go ahead.
That's
Mr.
not what the rules were that you said.
Can't keep interrupting each other on Zoom. It's not gonna work out.
Well, then I will ask the chair. I will ask the chairman to strike this from the record, because the rules are that this has to be uploaded prior to the meeting to be considered, and it was not. There are several contingencies that were required to hold a public hearing, and I don't believe this applicant has met any of them.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, well, my position is very simple. As an officer of the court and a representative of Crown Point Associates of Shelton, I represented last time, and I'm representing tonight, that the landlord gives full permission for this and actually referred it. There is no rule, regulation, law anywhere that it has to be specifically in writing. So what I will do is begin my presentation. As you note, the notices were sent out in addition to the notices that were sent out as required by your regulations. I also sent it to the two abutting tenants. They were not required to be done, but we did. We sent it to Enterprise, and we sent it to YL Kanji, and I uploaded a letter from YL Kanji supportive of this application, with no objection that they had. So that was one of the concerns, and that was taken care of. I'm not sure about your staff, but I received no response to any of the letters that were sent out. In other words, I received no inquiries from anybody who received the letters. And we did send it, so you know, to, as it's in the record, we did send it to the condominium association that disseminated it to all the people at Sally's Way, which is the property, as you know, above. The chairman did a review of what transpired. This is a live fire range. It is required for certain permitting. It will not be open to the general public. In other words, anybody walking in can't just go and do it. The use, as stated, is limited to the retail store hours. It's connected to the retail store hours. And the proposal is for an accessory use to a permitted retail use. This is very important, and as was explained to you by your counsel, this is not a situation where we are attempting in any way to add live fire range as a permitted use under PDD 48. The permitted use is retail, and this is being proposed as an accessory use to that retail use, i.e. the retail gun store. If the gun store goes away, the accessory use goes away. If this were a full major modification, which requires amendment to the Statement of Uses and Standards, it would then be a standalone use, which I'm sure, as expressed, it was not desired to be in the area, and so this is an accessory use to the existing retail use. The concerns expressed were stated by the chairman, and notes that I had. It was input from neighbors and tenants, details on the construction, safety, soundproofing, and in a recent email we received a concern expressed about ventilation. And it also was concerned about information from other gun ranges. I contacted Orange and talked to their zoning enforcement officer and reported my results to Ms. Castro. She reached out. He eventually did respond to her emails to confirm what he told me. Apparently, also, and I will address this part before we get into the more technical stuff. Apparently, Ms. Castro reached out to the Guilford planner. When I saw what was uploaded on the website from her, I reached out to her a couple of times, but did not receive a call back. So what I will explain to you is that Guilford has 2 outdoor ranges and 1 older indoor range, substantially older. The indoor range is located, I think, at 2468 Boston Post Road. I'm not, her comments were very generic, did not address it, and appear to be, to me, addressing the issues that you have with outdoor ranges. I live in Woodbridge on 313, and depending on the way the wind is blowing, when the Ansonia outdoor range is being used, I can hear every shot. And I am 3-4 miles away from that range. So outdoor ranges do create that. The sound travels enormous distances, and I understand that. They're not talking about that, and we will address the concerns of the noise. And just for your reference, just so you can understand what I'm talking about, if I can pull this up and hold on. Okay, this is the address of the 1 indoor range in Guilford, and you can see from the aerial view, it's the second building here this building here that has the range sticking out into the back. So it is in a commercial office center setting similar to this. So I just wanted to explain to you where that is. Now, her email, I wanted to confirm with her if she has any about the indoor range. Clearly, they have 2 outdoor ranges, a big gun club there, gun and hunting club. And clearly the complaints could be about that range. So, but I have uploaded, as was stated, a 3-sheet plan done by Action Target. And there are 2 individuals, Tyler Musier and Michael Horvath, to discuss that. We will have them discuss the outlay, the more detailed diagram of what the gun range, a 3-sheet plan of the gun range. In addition to that, we have Joseph Fattor from Fiber Sciences, and he is on the Zoom, and he will describe the soundproofing and the acoustic impact outside the range. And I will state for the record, I've worked with Mr. Fattor before on other litigation matters. He's very well respected in the issue of sound issues. And to the request recently was emailed to us to discuss the air filtration issue. Emilio SPZC, a licensed engineer, a professional engineer from M&O Corporation, was unable to be there tonight. So he issued a letter with respect to the HVAC, which I did upload. And find the letter. Which I think is somehow hidden behind my, here we go. Okay, so I will share, Mr. Chairman, would you like me to read the letter into the record?
So before you do that, Attorney Thomas, I just want to clarify one thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I want to clarify the Commissioner Appel's question before, so it doesn't linger for the rest of this meeting. I will not accept your late email. It is correct procedurally. It has to be in 24 hours in advance, but I will accept your representation as the attorney who represents the owner of the plaza, that the plaza owner is in support of the gun range. Okay? So
Thank
can
you.
proceed.
This is a letter again from M&O Corporation. They're a business, heating and air conditioning, HVAC business out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, mechanical engineering. Zoning and Planning Department, City of Shelton, Ray Indoor Air Quality and Lead Particulate Control, proposed indoor shooting range, MJ's Ammo. Dear members of the Zoning and Planning Commission, this letter is provided to address indoor and exhaust air quality considerations related to the proposed construction of an indoor shooting range. While the final architectural and mechanical designs are still under development, we would like to formally outline the guiding principles that will govern the design and operation of the ventilation and air handling systems. First and foremost, the facility will be designed and operated in full compliance with all applicable OSHA, state, and local building, mechanical, and environmental health regulations, as well as the recognized industry best practices for indoor firing range ventilation. It is our firm intent that any exhaust air or recirculated indoor air associated with the firing range will be filtered using high-efficiency particulate air, HEPA, filtration as part of the operational requirements. From an occupational and environmental health perspective, this approach is highly effective. Airborne lead generated in firing ranges primarily exists as fine particulate matter, with the majority of respirable lead particles typically measuring approximately 1 micron in aerodynamic diameter. By definition, a true HEPA filter is rated to capture at least 99.97% of airborne particles with a diameter of 0.3 microns. As a result, HEPA filtration will reach levels higher than 99.97 at removing airborne lead particulate generated during the shooting activities. We recognize the importance of public health, worker safety, and regulatory compliance, and we are committed to working closely with local officials, inspectors, and design professionals throughout the permitting and construction process. Respectfully submitted, Emilio SPZC, professional engineer with his license number, and he is the president of M&Up Corporation. I would normally say at this point I can respond to any questions, but it says JD after my name, not PE. But I think there may be people on here who may be able to respond if there are any questions. With that, and if there are none, with that, I would turn it over at this point to Tyler Musier and Michael Horvath to discuss the layout and design as we submitted. And I can ask them if they want me to bring a share screen with the 3-page layout.
Yes, I can start. Dominic, if you don't mind sharing the screen, I'll introduce
Okay.
myself and then I'll just briefly talk to the equipment utilized on the drawings. So my name is Tyler Mauser. I'm the territory manager here at Action Target, who manages Connecticut. I've been employed at Action Target for 7 years now, and Action Target's been in business for 40 years. We specialize in the manufacturing and installation of the shooting range equipment. So the actual items within a space that make it a shooting range. So as you see here, shared on the screen, the product that Action Target is responsible for is the piece of equipment that captures the bullets, the overhead ceiling baffles, which are ballistic steel, the stalls, the retrievers, and then sound abatement within the range. Action Target manufactures a majority of the equipment ourselves. We do the installation in-house, and we do all of the design work for the customer to meet their specific needs as well. Dominic, if you don't mind going to, I think there was 3 pages here. So
Right,
what you
this
see
is
on
the
the
second.
screen, yep, what you saw on the screen there was a section view of the entire dimensions and everything. What you see here on page 2 is a detailed view of the bullet trap, which is probably the most common bullet trap used in the market today. It's what we refer to as a rubber berm trap. Its key features include significantly reducing the amount of lead dust in the range significantly. It's very quiet for people on the range, and it's a very low maintenance trap. And then if you don't mind, Dominic, to the next page. Shown here on the screen is the shooting stalls, which the patrons will stand in. These are all rated, rifle rated as well, so patrons are extremely safe. They utilize materials that are easy to clean and easy to wipe down so that the range space is safe for workers and patrons as well.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Tyler.
Go ahead.
Tyler, this is Commissioner Harger. I was at City Hall today and I saw the materials that were sent to the office.
Yes.
There was a big gray, very dark gray block. Is that the sample of what is put for the berm?
So there was a few samples submitted. The berm sample was submitted in a bag.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So if you saw that, it's
Yes.
roughly pieces of rubber that are 1 inch in diameter. They're all slightly different. But we utilize that material in a 2-foot depth, and that captures all pistol and rifle rounds very safely.
Okay, and that is the big square, very dark gray block. Is that for the walls?
Yes, that is a panel that we refer to as PEP, P-E-P-P, that reduces the noise reverberation within the range. So Dominic,
yeah, it's about a good 2 inches thick.
Yep, yeah, so the piece that you saw is a sample. It's 2 inches thick. The pieces on the range will be 2 foot by 4 foot. And then that 2 inches as well. And it's a panel specifically designed to reduce the noise reverberation within the range.
So each of those pieces would be abutting each other on the wall.
Yeah, Dominic, could you go back to the section view? We'll look at exactly where those are.
Keeping in mind that we have Joseph Fattor from Vibra Sciences that is going to specifically address the sound
Yeah.
Oh, good.
things. I wanted to know that. Which one do you want me to do on the first one?
That first one, yes, sir.
And what was the smaller white, like gray?
Yeah, so it's the same material, 1 inch thick. That will be mounted on those slanted baffles that you see on this page here.
Okay,
And then the panels that you're referencing, the dark gray, if you can see the rectangular pieces towards the shooting stall, the left portion of this
yeah,
drawing,
yeah.
that's that panel there. So that's
What-
what you saw.
What are the purposes of the baffles?
The purposes of the baffles is to safely direct any errant shots away from the shooter.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay, and then does your company also supply those steel plates that were sent as part of the items to be reviewed?
Yep, my company does supply the steel plates for this project as well. We'll be using a 3/8 inch AR 500 steel plate, which is the industry norm.
Okay, and those go up on the wall instead of some exterior, I can't think of the name of the stuff that usually gets put up on a wall.
Yeah, so those plates will be hung from the ceiling, and that's what you see here. It's kind of a secondary ballistic ceiling. The wall will just utilize that sound panel, but will be constructed of solid concrete.
So there isn't any steel shielding on the walls?
Nope, and it's unnecessary. So the 8 inches of concrete is what the industry uses for the walls, and that's consistent across law enforcement, military, and commercial projects.
And that concrete, that's behind the cinder blocks are behind this material.
Yep, you're exactly right.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Thank you for your questions. Dominic,
Are there
that's
any other
everything
questions?
that I'd had planned to talk about. Yeah.
Michael, did you want to comment at all?
No, I think Tyler covered it pretty well. I think
Okay.
he's gone over the general outlay on how we contain within an indoor shooting range any projectile that's fired from the firing line. Again, all four sides of the perspective box, which would be the forward, the back, the left, and the right, is solid concrete walls which contain any and all projectiles that were be authorized to use on the.
If there are no more questions, then for them, I would call on Joe Fator from Fiber Sciences.
Any commissioners have questions on this part?
I just want to have someone,
Fresh in everyone's mind because it's probably technical.
if someone could just confirm that there's only 2 firing locations. There are 2 little spaces side by side. That's all that's planned.
I think they said in their application there were 6.
Oh, 6. Okay. Got it.
Close.
Am I correct on that, Attorney Thomas?
Correct.
Yeah, they did say correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that on another drawing.
Okay, proceed. Thank you.
Oh, yes, now I would have call upon Mr. Fator from Fiber Sciences.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Fator with Vibra Sciences. I've been in the noise control industry not very long, only about 35 years now. I've done multiple shooting ranges, interior ranges, ranging from small private ranges underneath a shopping mall and up to large-scale indoor ranges, specifically Foxwoods, their safety building. I did their range many years ago. The idea behind all of this to stop the sound of a firearm going off is to contain the sound inside of the building. And that's by building what we call a strong STC system, sound transmission coefficient system. A gun going off is in the neighborhood of 140 to 150 dB. So by creating an acoustically strong envelope, basically, as Mike indicated, a room inside of a room, the first step Mike indicated, or actually Tyler talked about, was a 8-inch solid block concrete wall. One that would obviously stop projectile from a firearm from exiting that room. And secondly, because it's so dense and heavy, it stops a great deal of noise. A cement block 8 inches thick has something called an STC, the sound transmission coefficient, of about 60 decibels. So just that cement block itself would do a fairly large job of reducing the noise inside the space. What we intend to also use is some 1 pound per square foot or sound barrier material to also on the walls to stop to increase the STC of the system. The 1 pound per square foot barrier has an STC of 26. And that's anything that weighs about a pound per square foot will stop 20, has an STC of 26 or noise stopping power of 26 decibels. So, in a combination with the cement block, standard building construction with 5/8 sheetrock, which also weighs about a pound and a quarter per square foot, and isolation clips to suspend that sheetrock from the wall, we can create a very acoustically strong envelope. And by adding the sound absorption panels to the inside of the structure, if we contain all that noise, it gets very loud inside there. So to also minimize what can leak out is by adding sound absorptive panels to the walls and to the baffles, so that when we absorb the energy inside the room, therefore that sound doesn't bounce back and forth in there and potentially, let's call it, leak out of the envelope. We're going to dramatically increase the capability of that room for a very loud noise to be generated and probably be inaudible on the outside of the building, because we also have additional structure that support that building. I believe the wall between Enterprise and the proposed range is a cement block wall. It's not a filled cement block wall, but that wall itself also has an STC, sound transmission coefficient, of about 30. So by layering the system up, we can completely contain that noise and provide very little leakage to the outside world. Again, I'm firmly confident that the sound that is emitted out of that room will barely be audible, even on an extremely quiet day. You got to understand, we hear the loudest noise. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, when the world is quiet, you can hear sounds very easily that are very low volume. But at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, when cars are going by and there's a lot going on in the world, you hear the cars and not the bird chirping down the street. So, I've done this many times in the past. This is kind of a standard procedure. We'll provide a good, strong acoustic system and prevent the noise from escaping out into the outside world and to the adjacent tenants.
Thank you, Mr. Fator. I do want to point out, as you know, that there's it abuts against Enterprise. On the other side, obviously, it abuts against the retail store of the applicant.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
Are there any questions for Mr. Fator?
I have one question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
So you've got 6 sleeves where people could shoot. How many decibels would be created if all 6 fired a large caliber firearm at the same time?
So that's a great question, sir. actually had a professor of statistical analysis run that exact same thing. So if it takes 3 firearms to fire at the exact same time, and let's say they're all at 140 dB or 130 dB. If all 3 of them fire at the exact same instant in time, there would be about a 5 dB increase. Now, the probability of 3 firearms or more, actually 2 firearms firing at the exact same instant in time, is about 1 in 2,500,000 chance of that actually happening. This professor did that analysis for me a while ago. I don't have his data, but it's extremely difficult for 2 firearms to be fired at the exact same instant in time to have an additive effect of a 5 dB change in noise. And that's with 2. 3, the numbers go up tenfold, or the 10th power.
Are there any other questions, Mr. Fator?
This is Commissioner Harder. Would the gentleman just go over the increase again? One more time?
The increase, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
All right, what's the base sound decibel when one gun goes off?
What well, it changes with the caliber of the firearm and type of firearm, but in ballpark, and just let's call it a 30 caliber rifle would fire when fired, would provide about 140 decibel.
Okay.
Decibel scale A, like the human ear hears it.
Yep.
Because sound is, the decibels are a number of different scales. Most of the time, industrial and environmental noise control, we use scale A, which mimics the way the human ear hears sound. We hear low frequency sounds much less than we hear higher frequency sounds.
Oh.
So for instance, fun fact, a baby's cry is at 2000 hertz. We hear that 2 decibels louder than it actually is. So God did a pretty good job of making sure we get out of bed.
Yeah. So then as you do 2 firearms, it's not double?
No.
Percentage.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's impossible. Physics doesn't allow that to happen, that it's double. It's only about a 5 dB increase. So it's
Okay.
it doesn't become 104, 280. It becomes 145.
Okay. And that's for each successive one?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 5 times 5 is 25 plus 140, is that correct?
No, it's always going to be one worst case scenario, 145.
Oh.
It's not, the sound is not added. You don't add the noise up.
Okay. All right, so it's a 5 dB increase for all subsequent firings.
Well, no, it's 5 dB for each firing. If 2 fire at the exact same instant in time, which is virtually impossible, instead of 140, it would be 145. If 3 fire at the exact same instant in time, it would be 145 instead of 140. If 10 of them fire at the exact same instant in time, it would still be 145.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, 2 questions.
Sure.
How loud is 145 decibels?
It's painful.
Jet engine?
Jet engine.
Vacuum?
Jet engine noise.
Okay. And so you said your wall was 60 dB and your blocking was another 26. That's only 86 dB.
Maybe I did not relate to you exactly the system, because the system hasn't been completely developed because we're still in the planning stages. But we'll build a wall that has an STC that is well over 120.
So you're still going to have 25 dB emanating from the property.
No, we're still going to have 25 dB emanating from the room inside the room.
And don't you have air suppressors?
What do you mean air suppressor?
Well, I mean, you have, you're protecting your hearing too.
Oh
So-
yeah, it's the hearing protectors inside the room. Yeah, that's standard. That's standard with any indoor range. You need to wear hearing suppression and you need to have safety glasses on.
Right, exactly.
All commercial ranges, and even private ranges, gun clubs, any gun club you go to that has a range, I don't care if it's indoor or outdoor, mandates that you wear hearing protection and eye protection.
Right.
And what we're going to do is, by adding the sound absorptive panels inside the space, we're going to reduce the noise level that reverberates, or the energy that's inside the space, by providing a sound absorptive material which converts the acoustic energy into a different form of energy, basically by friction. All sound absorbing material is fibrous in nature. So when the sound wave hits it, the fibers vibrate against one another, taking the acoustic energy and turning it into a different form of energy to minimize the sound inside the space.
Mr. Fator,
Yes, sir.
when you say a room within the room, am I correct to understand that the walls, the 8-inch thick concrete, solid concrete walls, will be away from the existing walls? So it'll be essentially a space between, and that's what you're describing as this space in between. So
yeah, it's a room inside of a room, that little dead air space. And it doesn't actually have to be completely separate. We can use metal 2x4s or things like that as part of the system, and it won't transmit the sound. That dead air space that's there aids in the ability for the sound for the system to work.
thank you.
You're welcome.
If there are no other questions, Mr. Chairman, the only point I have is I referenced the letter from Weil Kanji, which is the only response we got from the tenants in support of this application. Would you like me to read that, or is uploading it sufficient?
You can read it. It's a short letter, my recollection. It's only a line or so, a couple of lines.
Yes, it is short. Dated January 9th. To whom it may concern, at the Town of Shelton Planning and Zoning Committee, I, Ping Guo, am a member of Weil Kanji, a business located within Crown Point Plaza at 514 Bridgeport Avenue. Our business is located directly next to MJ's Ammo Saloon, and I hereby state that I am in full support and foresee no issues to the operation of our business due to the expansion of a live fire range being put in by MJ Ammo Salon. Signed, Weil Kanji by Ping Hua.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
So I understand we reached out to the tenants next door to the location. No one heard anything back from Enterprise?
No. They had my phone number, my email, and they had Alexandra's email in the letter. In other words, they received the same type of letter that the neighbors get.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So all you have, Mr. Attorney Thomas?
Yes, that, I think we addressed all of the issues, and like I said at the beginning, with respect to, again, I reached out to Guilford. I know we showed at the last meeting, we showed you pictures of the orange one. I reached out to the CEO, and he eventually did respond to with respect to their live fire range, which is in a similar shopping center. So that's our presentation, and we think we've made again addressed the concerns with respect to the accessory use and stressing that this is an accessory use that is attached to an approved retail use, and the retail use goes away, the accessory use goes away. And thank you. We're, again, all here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. So at this time, I just call upon any commissioners if they have any additional questions that we didn't ask along the way. That you have.
Mr. Chairman, if I might make a comment and then ask a question.
Sure thing.
Just to clarify what we both were talking about earlier, the motion was to approve the applicant's request for an expanded use, which is not an accessory use. The accessory use is the legal term. So I don't believe the commission has made an official ruling as to whether or not this is an accessory use or whether this is a modification of the PDD. So I think that has to be done first.
Okay. You got another question?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. How would the
So just say, Win, are you
I'll go-
saying we need to say that this is, we're talking about an accessory use since that's what our regulations
My
refer to?
my thought is that we need to make a determination. The applicant has filed as an accessory use. This is a physical site that's equal to his retail use. So are we granting it as an accessory use, or is this in fact a major modification to the original application, which would require an entirely different process?
We are having a public hearing,
We're
correct?
having a public
Public
hearing, but not as a major modification. We're having a public hearing in consideration of an application.
correct, and as discussed last meeting, I believe, to summarize, the reason why the commission voted as an expanded use or accessory use.
No, we did not vote as an accessory use. We voted as an expanded use.
Expanded use, to accept the application of expanded use over a major modification.
No, expanded
Because-
use is a term that has no legal bearing in our regulations. The regulation says accessory use. So we've never made the determination.
Where did that expanded word pop in then?
It was a word I used to acknowledge that they were doing more than their original retail store.
Mhm.
That's all. If he wanted to sell cowboy boots, it would be an expanded use. If he wants to sell Chinese food, it would be an expanded use. I'm not saying it's an accessory use.
It was
And my
also
concern
listed,
is that the facility is as large as his retail use.
it was listed in the description of the agenda as an expansion of use.
Question for the chair.
Go ahead.
I think getting back to this conversation though, is the term or idea expansion of use, is that used in our regulations or are we making something up? I think gets to the heart of what Commissioner Apple's question is. Am I right, Commissioner Apple?
Yeah, I don't believe it's an accessory use, so I would not have used that term in making a motion.
Okay, can I address the issue here? There is no expansion of, it's not in in 34.11, the regulation. If you are changing the statement of uses and standards, which is the zoning regulation for any PDD, that is equivalent to a text amendment, and you have to hold a public hearing. When you are making a major modification, which this clearly isn't with respect to the initial concept development plans, because we're just working within an existing building, the same thing applies. The PDD, if you, and I think we refer to this, and I can bring it up easily, PDD number 48 in section 5 contains a list of permitted uses. Because remember, the PDD only allows specific uses that are in the statement of uses and standards. And one of them is retail uses, stores where goods or services are sold at retail to the public. In March of this year, you approved the gun store under that regulation as the gun store. This application for the range came in as part of the gun store. You can label it whatever you want, but it's coming in under what I believe is, I don't have it in front of me right now, probably 5 section E or F, somewhere around there, D, E, or F, in which it says accessory as permitted uses are accessory uses that are directly related to one of the permitted uses above and commonly related to those permitted uses. So to use Commissioner Appel's example, selling Chinese food in a gun store would not be an accessory use that is directly related to it. However, having a gun range in order to facilitate your permitting process is an accessory use. The fact that somebody mislabeled it in a conversation and talk, you have to look at the regulations. The regulations, the PDD regulations, uses the term accessory, and you are required in the statement of uses and standards. That's your standard phrase concerning accessory uses. So, but regardless of that, it's the applicant that's saying to you, this is an accessory use, which means that if the applicant failed in his gun store, if it failed economically and he had to close his gun store, then the range goes away. That's the point of an accessory use. So it doesn't stay.
Okay.
In addition to that, given the circumstances of your approval and the conditions of your approval, if he had to cut back his hours and was going to only operate 3 days or 4 days a week, the gun store, the range has the same limitation. So
Correct.
that is the definition of an accessory use in this situation. And I can bring up PDD 48's statement of uses and standards if you want me to, but that's basically what it is. And the section in your regulations containing it is 34.11, I believe, and it talks about when there are minor changes, they can be handled by the commission, meaning it do not require a public hearing, because the
Mr.
public
Chairman,
hearing
one
is when
final
you
point,
change
if
the
I
reg.
might.
Okay, so we're going to get back to this in a moment. So right at this point, we're going to move to the public portion. Ms. Castro, is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this application?
I am putting in our Alderman Michael Duncan.
Okay. Alderman Duncan?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening. Great discussion. Thank you. Learning a lot about this. The one thing I do have concerns about, or would just caution, is that across the street, you do have some residential housing. It's not just a business district. And as a gun enthusiast myself and enjoy shooting, while I may be in favor of this and seeing this in town and using it, I do have concerns with the traveling of sound. And I think Commissioner Oppel mentioned it. The SDC rating of 120 that they're building it, in addition to the 60 SDC by the concrete wall, there seems to be, when I looked it up, the average decibels of the average gun ranges from 150 to 165, and that's not in accumulation of the additional 5 stalls that would be there. So you could potentially be creating some noise complaints from the residents across the street. So just something to consider.
Thank you. Ms. Castro, is there anyone else who would like to address from the public?
No.
Okay. So to address the motion that was made from last meeting, I'm going to read the motion again, and the commission can provide me feedback on what we voted for. We voted at a 6-0 approval to this motion as it was presented last month. It says, I make a motion that we agree to accept the application of MJ's Ammo for an expanded use at 514 Bridgeport Avenue, and that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Shelton will hold a public hearing regarding said expansion, and that the applicant will provide us with additional details regarding the construction and sound emanation from the proposed facility, and that the surrounding tenants in the shopping center be provided notice of the public hearing. So with that being said, is the commission comfortable in proceeding forward at this time with the expanded use that we voted on December 10th?
Mr. Chairman, I think that it's Commissioner Harger. I think to get to the bottom of this, the only really true way of making sure that that motion was recorded correctly, you'll listen to the YouTube recording of that. And if Commissioner Apple could just verify what are the words that he felt that were not presented properly?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I thought you just read what was recorded.
But that's what I want to do, make sure, Commissioner Kelly, that the transcript was.
Yeah, I mean,
accurate.
I understand that, but
I'm not arguing the whether the words, I think the words are correct. I use the words expanded use, not accessory use, which is a legal term.
I think what we need to establish is how the commission intended for their vote. Commissioner Apple is stating his interpretation of his delivery was one, and you need to understand if all the commissioners were on the same page.
So let me ask you,
For their understanding of the vote. My apologies.
Right.
I think what was presented to us, that regardless of this expanded use terminology, but this was presented to us as an accessory use, I believe, by the applicant throughout all of our discussions.
I agree with that.
Yep.
So I think that is what we are talking about, and that is what our regulations refer to. So I don't really have a problem with having said anything about an expanded use when I think it was pretty clear that we were talking about this as an accessory to this business. That's what I think. And any further discussion about expanded versus accessory is going to make my head blow up.
Well,
I agree.
I think it was a very good explanation, Commissioner Amato.
Don't ask me to repeat it, because like I said, going a little circular here. Yeah.
Okay, and just going back to a point that had come up before, is this a major modification or not? Major modification would trigger a public hearing where the applicant would have to present a new list of permitted uses. And if those permitted uses were approved by the commission, those are for all time.
correct.
And if this business ended and the space became available and another business of this in this category decided to take that space, they could continue a live fire range. But if it is approved as an accessory use, if this business were to go away, that use goes away. And it's not grandfathered in, so to speak.
That's my understanding, and I believe that's what we spoke about
Okay.
last meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would not,
But Mr. Chairman, I just want to be clear. Any action we take that moves this forward is a reversal of an action that this commission has already taken. And because the commission said there would be no live fire at this location.
No, the commission said there'd be no live fire at the retail portion. That's what we said in March. There'd be no
Right.
live fire at the retail portion. This is an accessory use to the retail portion.
But it's still the retail portion. And
Not the
both the
retail
applicant and his representatives said they were not going to look for live fire. So
In the
they've come in and they're
retail
changing their
portion.
mind.
In the retail portion. They're not asking.
It's all
for
one
live
unit.
fire.
It's not two different stores.
It is
The
two
only
different-
access is through the retail store.
It's two different stores that they're limiting access to be through the retail portion of this store, but it
So
is
they're
a
not
sep-
two different stores. They
it
don't
is a
have
s-
two storefronts.
It is a separate space. Currently, they're two storefronts. They're looking
But
to
the only
combine them.
access is through the retail store, just like the only access to their classroom is through the retail store.
You would be amending the approval, so if they decide to no longer have this place next door, the retail side couldn't continue a live fire gun range within the retail portion of the store. It's only within this separate space. So
Unless they ask for a modification.
Yeah, right. Unless we ask for an amendment, we gotta come back with a new application, which is what they did when they got the extra space. They could not have had a live fire where they have the, what do you call it, the type
simulated.
that they have in there. They're trying to say, well, I can't.
Milo system.
Huh?
It's called the Milo system.
Yeah,
Being that this came in as an application for a certificate of zoning compliance, if the commission made a decision on it, the notification on the permit would reference a prior application, but it wouldn't change the retail portion that the commission reviewed. It would only change it to this specific location within the PDD as accessory to the store, but it wouldn't change your decision on the retail portion.
Mhm. You know, the only missing link I feel that's not there is the applicants represented, as far as I can recall, that at the time that the retail store was applied for and approved, the licensing requirements were different, but then the state of Connecticut changed its regulations and live fire had to be provided. Is that correct?
That's what
No,
was.
he corrected that last time, and he said that that wasn't true.
It was not.
No, at the time he made the original application, live fire was required. That's what he said at the last meeting.
right, for a specific permit, and he's here to answer the, Mr. Bruno is on the Zoom, he can clarify it if you want him to.
Yes, please.
How we doing, Chair? So when I originally applied, the state laws have not changed, as I stated last time. I was doing the classroom and did not foresee the other surrounding ranges not allowing me, just like when you requested the little field trip, I was not able to secure to bring you guys to see another range. I have been met with total adversity and opposition against being able to qualify students looking to seek their permit. So it has made my use of the classroom almost obsolescence without the live fire range.
Okay, so somebody that comes in and does their classroom, that's only one portion of it. The other portion is to pass live fire, and if they can't do it on site, they're up a creek. There is no other range that would permit them to do it there at their location. Is
That's
that
for a permit.
for the permit? Yeah.
Yeah,
But Mr. Bruno, is that the right thought process? If you're taking classes at your location, the live fire has to also be done at your location.
Only because these other places wouldn't allow it. He
Well,
thought,
yeah, more than likely, if you went to the other place, they would say, fine, take our class, pay us the money, the same
Right.
class that they took at Mr. Bruno's. And they would say, pay our money, take our class, and then we'll let you use our range.
Right.
That
And
would be the
nothing is
result.
stopping Mr. Bruno for buying and selling guns and ammunition.
No.
Right.
This
Okay.
enhances the business to get people qualified and sell at retail the guns and ammunition that you permitted me with my store to sell.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to ask Mr. Bruno a question. On for the permit, you need live fire, you need practice. How long has that law been into effect?
So they changed that law back in 2023.
What was it
where you
before?
you were able to qualify with either digital shooting or rubber bullets. Now it needs to be minimum live fire qualification. Nothing
Okay,
else is
so
acceptable.
when you came for the application before, you just figured out you could go someplace else for the live fire.
In my previous structured attempts, I had ranges telling me I would be allowed to. After I got my store approved and permitted and I went to take students, they told me absolutely not. We do not welcome outside trainers. They need to take the class with us.
Yeah, good friends.
And you were dealing with the exact same people that had represented them as being open to having your students go there for a live fire? Mr. Bruno?
What's your question,
When you-
Commissioner Jane?
When you went back and talked to these people a second time, you were talking to the exact same people that you spoke to before that had seemed to indicate that they would accept your students?
I spoke to the same people, and then when they told me no, I attempted other ranges, and they flat out
Yeah.
told me, no, we do not welcome you.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, would you like, by the way, because I don't want to eliminate it, Mr. Alderman Duncan had a request. Would you like Mr. Fator to respond to his concern?
Oh, I think on Mr. Fator's presentation, those items were already addressed. Do we have any other questions for the commission? Okay. How would the commission like to proceed? We have a public hearing opened. How would the commission like to proceed?
Mr. Chairman, I move we close the public hearing.
I second that.
Okay. Ms. Castro, let's do a roll call vote, please. To close the public hearing.
Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
Commissioner Apple,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Harger,
Aye.
Chairman Cristiano.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. So the public hearing is closed. How would the commission like to proceed at this point? I think it's spent a lot of time discussing this topic, I think.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I feel we should go for a vote. We've beaten the dead horse. I don't think there's anything else that we can talk about, so we should just vote on it.
Okay, I can is that the consensus? I have a motion I can make.
I'll make a motion that we close it and we vote.
Okay.
You already
What are
had.
we?
already
We
did.
already closed it, right? So we vote on it.
So do you want to make a proposal to approve it? That
So-
would be the
For an
motion.
yes, to approve the change,
So I can
the accessory.
so let me know if this is acceptable. I move or I make, recommend a motion to approve the application, ZBO 25-138 for MJ's Ammo for an expansion of use, allowing a live fire gun range as an accessory use specifically to the retail business operations, granted that in the event the retail establishment closes, the live fire gun range is no longer permitted, along with the previously mentioned conditions.
Mr. Chairman, I think,
If there's any, right? So we have any.
can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think your ending words there are important because I want to make sure that the record is clear that this is an accessory use, which you define at the end. I just wouldn't want there to be any confusion with this word expansion that we've been throwing around. So in totality, your motion is about that this is ultimately an accessory use, as Commissioner Harger, I think, defined well earlier, that it really goes with the
Correct.
business, and if the business were to no longer be there, so goes this accessory use. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
I think that's what Commissioner Oppo was getting to also.
Mr. Chairman, is
But
it
I don't
your
want to speak
intent?
for-
I'm sorry, is it your intent that the range only operate during the business hours of the store?
That could be a condition. We spoke about that last time. That could be a condition. I believe the applicant did reference that last week or last month, that the range would only operate at the same hours as the store's hours. So that could be a condition.
I thought that was mentioned tonight also, but a lot of things were.
Ms. Cashel, were there any other conditions that were mentioned that you had recorded from last time?
I only recall the business hours of operation as mentioned, and that it would stay with the retail business. Once the retail business was out, they would no longer be permitted to operate.
Okay.
Are we coming to a consensus or are we voting approval?
We're voting approval.
Okay, so there will be no resolution written up with all of these conditions?
This is an application for a certificate of zoning compliance, so whatever your motion is what I would place on the permit application that they submitted online. It's not
Okay.
part of the PDD, it's not an amendment to any
Right.
state uses.
Right.
So do we need to mention, you mentioned other conditions, but do we need to specify that we're talking about the, as presented in terms of the building standards that they will be using for the sound mediation and, for example, that they presented tonight, should that be included in this motion?
We can include
Well, our-
that, the hours and the construction and the construction, acoustical and ventilation standards minimally. If there's any significant changes that they need to meet with staff to review those. The applicant did indicate that the final layout is not completed yet. So I'm assuming there's going to be some degree of changes.
I'd be a little concerned about if there are any significant changes. I would just leave it as if there are any changes. Significant is subjective.
Well, they haven't finished their plan yet, so
Right.
sounds like they haven't finished the plan, so.
How much more has to be done?
Yeah,
If that's the case, if their plan, they're coming in for mission, we give them the approval to have this as an accessory use, then perhaps once they, one of the contingencies is they have to present final plans. It's just like our initial concept development plan is done first, and then we do the final site development plan.
That's why I'm asking what we're doing here.
Yeah.
It's a
So
little different than usual public hearing. Coming to a
I'm
consensus,
comfortable that
developing resolution.
I'm comfortable they can submit final plans to staff. I don't know if, we're gonna make a determination on whether or not they need 3/4 inch steel plate or 1 inch steel plate and how that's gonna change what we need to do. So if if there's any kind of significant change or problems that staff feels is appropriate to bring it back before the commission, they can bring it back. But they presented it, the basics for, the construction of the range and the ventilation and acoustical design. If it's varies much from what they presented to us, staff should present it back to the commission. And we
Mr. Chair, I just have you made me think of a question as you're talking about that. There was a comment from the public, from an elected official that we heard that, and what you just said just reminded me, is this, are those that will be using the range, is it for training purposes only, or could a member of the public come in just to shoot if they wanted to?
So my recollection of their business model is this: you go there, you somewhat join as a member. A part of that membership is you're required to take some sort of range safety course. Provided you're past this range safety course, you then have access to the facility to shoot. So in reality, from my knowledge, it's almost a safer range than a regular range where someone with a permit can just walk in and go shooting, which is what the normal business model of a range is.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a little stricter than going down the street to the sports center and driving a basket of balls.
Right.
Basically, you have to be a member.
Correct.
And
So anyone can be a member, but you
have
gotta be a member.
Yeah, but you can't just come off the street and go in. Sure.
Correct. That was my recollection from their presentation.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I'd just like to hear the applicant confirm that. Oh, we can't because
The
it's a
applicant
public
can't
hearing.
speak anymore, but I did
Yeah.
rewatch this video several times, and that was how it was presented. You would
Yes.
have to be a member.
All right.
There was a fee associated, a yearly fee.
Yep. All right. I'll rely on the staff's representation about that.
Chairman, if I can repeat your motion that I have it typed up correctly, and if any other commissioner wants to include anything else, please let me know. Motion was to approve application ZBO 25-138 for MJ's Ammo Saloon for an expansion of use, allowing a live fire gun range as an accessory use specifically to the retail business operations, granted that in the event that the retail establishment closes, the live fire gun range is no longer permitted, and that the gun range only operates in connection with the hours of the retail operation, and that the construction, acoustical, and ventilation standards be constructed as presented, and any changes must be communicated with staff.
That's my recollection.
Would anyone like to add any additional conditions?
Only thing I would suggest is in that section where it would be, the gun range would be no longer permitted. Also to maybe reinforce it by and must cease operations.
Well, if it's no longer permitted, there is no operations.
Right. I just think that this puts a little bit more teeth to it.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Ms.
Any
Castro,
other comments?
Okay, Ms. Castro, can you call the roll, please?
If you could remind me, I only have recorded that Commissioner Kelly made the motion. I don't know if we had a second.
No, we didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, and then I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Ticky?
Aye.
Commissioner Opple?
No.
Commissioner Motto?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Aye for approval.
Commissioner Harcher?
I am an A, and only because I don't believe it's an appropriate location for a gun shooting range.
Commissioner Cristiano?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-2.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I know that was a lot, but it's very detailed and an unusual application. So I appreciate everyone's patience. The next is old business. So moving on to the old business, the following application was previously reviewed also during our December 10th meeting. It is on tonight's agenda for deliberation and action. It's application 2520. Chris Russo for 2224 Constitution Boulevard LLC at 2224 Constitution Boulevard for approval of a zone map change from R1 to CB2 for a parcel located within the restricted business district overlay zone. Before proceeding, I will provide a recap of what was presented during our prior meeting. The applicant is requesting that the entire 3.99 acre property located at 22-24 Constitution Boulevard be rezoned to CB2, which allows for commercial development. The property was made up of a former city-owned parcels that were sold to the applicant in June of last year. Today, the property is split zoned. It's a CB2 along Bridgeport Avenue, R1 and RBD towards the rear. The applicant is asking to eliminate that split zoning and make the entire property one CB2 zone. The applicant explained to us that when the parcels were sold to the city, the sales contract included language that the city would seek to have the property rezoned to the CB2. The applicant also stated that at the time of the sale, that Constitution Boulevard extension was underway and that the roadway is what now makes the rear portions of the land usable. Okay, wasn't usable at the time. Yeah, the applicant's position is that Bridgeport Avenue is Shelton's main commercial corridor. The site is the first property off Route 8 at exit 11. The portion of the property is already CB2, and the request simply extends the commercial zoning across land that is now accessible by the new roadway. The applicant also explained that the CB2 does not automatically allow development. Any building or use will still have to come back before the commission for our standard site approvals, our any special permits and wetlands approvals if they're required. So again, this is just for the zone. The applicant also pointed out that the CB2 has several built-in protections near residential areas, which include a 40-foot setback from residential property, requiring landscaping and buffering where parking and buildings meet homes, and a 40-foot height limit, which is the same as the residential zoning area. During the public hearing, two neighbors from the Black Rock Road raised concerns about loss of the woods and privacy, the reduction in property values, traffic on the narrow residential road, and then the noise and blasting issues, as well as whether they were given enough time to prepare. The applicant responded to those questions. Only the parcels that were purchased as part of this request, neighboring residential properties are not being rezoned. Any blasting is regulated by the fire marshal with permits, surveys, and insurance. Okay, and that any future development would again have to be reviewed by the commission during our full process. A question was also raised about the RBD overlay on part of the site. Corporation Counsel confirmed that if the commission rezones the property to CB2, the overlay can be absorbed into one new zone, allowing the parcel to become one uniform district. The public hearing was then closed by roll call. After closing the hearing, commissioners expressed that they were not ready to deliberate or vote and wanted time to review. to review essentially what was the prior planning history. References were made to the earlier 824 referrals related to Constitution Boulevard and other backgrounds related to how this land become available for development. The application is now in for on development deliberation stage, and we have not had any discussion yet. Okay. Specifically, Ms. Castro, have you been able to confirm the question regarding the 824 referral authorizing the sale of the city-owned property?
Yes, it was presented in front of the commission in February of 2022, listing each of the map and lot numbers and authorizing the city to make the purchase or make this sale.
Well,
Mhm.
Thank you. So at this time, I open it up to any commission members for discussion regarding this application.
I think it's a logical kind of change. The only condition I would like to see is that there would be absolutely no access to this parcel from Blacks Hill Road. It would all have to be from Constitution Boulevard, which probably is the intent, but I would not want to subject any of the residents up that narrow winding road to any kind of additional traffic.
That's a good point.
Mr. Chairman, I will agree with that. I think that was, I don't know if that was talked about or not at the last meeting, but the intent of the owner is to have an entrance and exit out of Constitution Boulevard and not of any other place.
Mhm.
I think the topography would not have lent itself to any access. Is that
I
correct?
agree with you,
Yeah.
unless you want a 20-foot drop.
Yeah.
Certainly on the Bridgeport Avenue side, as it was presented, you can't exit there.
Mm.
I don't recall what the Black Rock side.
I think they're landlocked on that side anyhow.
Blacks Hill Roadside?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's, I think a part of Blacks Hill Road continuing over what is being worked on for Constitution Boulevard terminates at some point,
mhm.
so.
I think I have to question allowing the condition of approval that no access be on there. Just as a staff person who's reviewing the zone map, there's nothing on the map that says you can't access from a certain way, and I think that needs to be addressed as each individual application comes for the development of the site. I personally don't know how I would execute that condition.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I understand completely. If as long as there is something in the future that is done along that line, that would be fine with me.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Mr. Chairman, do you think we're ready for a vote?
Okay. So if I assume we're in agreement, I have a two motions available. I have motion for the affirmative available. I'll make a recommendation for approval for application 2520 at 22-24 Constitution Boulevard for a zone map change from R1 to CB2 for a parcel located within the restricted business district overlay zone. Do I hear a?
Yeah, I'll make that. But the only thing is what was talked about the entrance and exit. Do we make that part of this, or is that something later on?
That's something, I think what we said is that's going to be something later on when the individual
when the actual nature of what would be located
Developed.
on this parcel was going to be applied for.
All
Yeah.
right, so I'll make that motion for an approval.
Second.
And I just want to confirm, sorry, I don't want to go backwards, that we are continuing the RBD overlay zone for this area, correct?
Yes.
I thought Fran said it was going to be consolidated
Restricted
into one
business
zone.
district.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, Ms. Castro, will you please conduct the roll call vote, please, again?
We didn't-
Commissioner Dickey?
Nope. Nobody seconded, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Wayne Apple did, Commissioner
Yeah, okay,
Apple.
thank you.
I will say aye.
Commissioner Apple?
Aye.
Commissioner Motto?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Harcher?
Aye.
Chair Cristiano?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. We move on to new business. The next item on the agenda for new business, the following application has been submitted for a site plan review. Application 2601, our first application for a new year, is Harriet Pulaski at the Shelton Housing Authority at 187 Meadow Street, Assessors Map 137, Lot 15, for a site plan application to allow the addition of 24 senior housing units within Saginaw Heights,
Zinzabaugh.
Saginaw, to accept, discuss, and possible action. Okay. Prior to opening up for acceptance and commission discussion, I would like to provide some comments. Okay. After reviewing the project file and reading the comments from both Ms. Castro and Mr. DeGangi, as well as looking at the plans, I have some concerns with the application being accepted as it was submitted. The application relies on copies of a 2014 approval, not newly prepared plans. The drawings are not to scale, which means the commission cannot verify setbacks, building locations, or site layout. The plans do not meet our basic professional standards. The topography survey states it is invalid without an embossed seal and no seal is present. In addition, several drawings reference one surveyor but are stamped by different professionals shown on the plans. Different professionals, which means legal responsibility for data is unclear. The professionals shown on the plans no longer match the firms that exist today. Some companies no longer exist or have merged, and the plans have not been updated to identify the licensed professionals who are responsible for work. The applicant has not provided documentation showing that they have the right to reuse these plans. These drawings were created in 2014 approval that has expired, and without proof of ownership or permission, the city cannot accept them. The submission does not include required engineering information. There is no drainage report, no evaluation of traffic impact, and unresolved conflicts between water, fire service, and utilities. The erosion control notes on the plans reference outdated state standards instead of the current 2024 Connecticut guidelines, which means the plans are not compliant with today's requirements. The plans do not include a zoning compliance table. Without setbacks, lot coverage, parking, and other zoning data shown, the commission cannot confirm whether the project meets zoning regulations. It is also unclear who is responsible for the final design of this project. The applicant does not state who will prepare updated plans if changes are required, and the applicant has indicated that the state may redesign the project, but that is not documented in the submission. Finally, city engineer review is not complete. so the commission does not yet have full technical evaluation of the site. Based on these deficiencies, I feel that the commission cannot accept this application as submitted. The materials do not meet current professional, legal, and regulatory standards needed for a proper site plan review. I welcome any comments from the commission, and how would you like to proceed?
I think your comments were well stated, Mr. Chair, and are very valid. It's a project that I had voted for, and I would vote for, but all of the paperwork has to be up to snuff. We just can't take a chance on any of this at all. You've noted several deficiencies that would be of concern to me.
If any of you recall, but way back when this was built, there was a 10-foot error in the measurements of the land there, and it ended up in court for years. It was
Really?
a big old mess. Yeah.
Ooh.
There was a problem with this survey or the engineering or something. So there was, in terms of the height of the land, it was wrong. So it
Mr.
messed
Chairman,
up
could
the
the
whole
staff confirm that we have the ability not to accept an application?
As we've done in the previous applications, when applicant submits an application to me, we can do our best to review it. Ultimately, we've been advised that the application has to go in front of the commission to determine whether they want to accept it or not. A recent application in November, the commission voted to not accept an application due to inefficiencies.
So what happens is the staff has to accept the application. The commission does not have to accept the application. It has to be accepted by staff and presented to us, but we don't have to accept it and move it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Is the applicant on the Zoom?
Yes.
Maybe we should ask them if they want to withdraw it.
It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like me to promote the applicant as a panelist?
Fine.
There you go. You were up there.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Harriet Plansky, property manager for Shelton Housing Authority.
Let's see if they can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm with John Fitzgerald. John Fitzgerald is also my vice commissioner for the Housing Authority, and he is proficient in every aspect of construction.
So, so to the commission, we have this, as we understood the comments that were made by the engineer. We understand all of that and are fully aware of that at this point. The reason for presenting this preliminarily was to get on board so that we could get into the queue for state funding for this project. We understand that these documents are old. They need to be updated to the standards. We were advised by the state that we could use these preliminarily as a concept. And so we thought that we would not change anything on this plan because we don't think that anything physically will change. As the engineer stated, there might be all of the professionals need to sign on board. The original professional, they are no longer, we do not employ them. We paid for this plan years ago, and we would just like to use this as a concept to move forward. So that's what the intent was. It was intended to start the process so we could go to the state because they've advised us that they will provide professionals for us if the concept was not permitted by you, but as a concept. So we may be jumping the gun a little bit, but we wanted to start the process because of the need for affordable housing We have the site. It was set aside for this purpose years ago when SINS 2 was built. All of the notes we have from the previous administration in 2014, we have in front of us. The deficiencies are so noted. We will address those once we get a design professional on board to shepherd the project. We do not have that person right now. So we may be jumping the gun, but that's what was our intent.
Thank you. You have anything else you'd like to indicate?
But there is an opportunity to apply for pre-development and construction funding through the Department of Housing. Department of Housing has said that if you are a housing authority and you have land, and we know that we have a significant need for low-income elderly housing in Shelton, 50% of the calls I receive weekly are from people, elderly people looking for housing. So we know that we really need to do this, and we want to do this. So Department of Housing, they're developing this new initiative designed to assist local housing authorities with development of housing on property they already own.
Thank you for that. Mr. DeGangi, I know you're familiar with the paperwork. Staff asked you to review this to see if it can be utilized anymore. Can you provide any insight for us on this?
Yeah, other than the technical issues, probably the biggest issue here is number 5 in my letter and the reason why I even bring it up, I've seen some agreements that have been used by the city on professional services, and attached to the agreement are terms and conditions by the professional. And in 2 cases, I've seen that the consultant retained ownership of the documents, and that to use the documents, you needed to get their permission. And so if they can verify that they have ownership, then using them as a concept, it might be okay, but I think that needs to be verified because you may not own the documents.
So, Mr. Chairman, could I address?
Sure thing. Go ahead.
To Mr. DeGangi's point, we did work with this previous architecture firm before, and we will reach out to them for that purpose. We did work with them on another housing authority, the Shelton Housing Authority, Helen DeVoe renovation 3-4 years ago now. So we can contact them for that permission, and we'll do so. And if they say no, we will then be reaching out to other consultants that we've been advised by the state that we can consult with them. They're preferred consultants for this work before we go out. And, we know that the project lacks construction documents. The specifications are not clear. This is just a concept. So we can do that. We discussed that in-house here a couple of months ago. And we've tried to contact him several times. We will try again.
If I may, it's my understanding that we did pay for these plans, and I will see what I can dig up that says that we paid for them. There are plans to use.
Right. We don't know if we did pay for them 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. And so we can get that documentation from Mr. Arcari's group.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Is this a new application?
Yes,
Yes.
the old one
Okay,
expired.
because the other one's null and void, right? It's
Right.
over 5 years old.
Right.
Can we approve an application on a concept?
Right, that's what I was going to address.
Okay,
So
Don't we always do that?
no,
we always,
Concept plan, I mean,
not on concepts.
so
No, not unless it's a PDD.
It's correct.
oh,
Sorry, I was
I
muted.
guess that's all we ever look at.
We do review initial plans through, as Commissioner Harder said, through PDDs. This specific location calls for a site plan application, which has their own specific requirements.
So it would have to be a complete presentation.
correct.
Yeah.
And So that was my first point I was going to make, and the other point is, not knowing whether or not you're going to be able to obtain approval to own these plans. What was discussed earlier is that these plans may not even be valid under our current standards. So even if you can obtain the rights to these plans, we may not and likely will not be able to accept them. And I think that's what has been communicated to you by staff already, that ultimately the plans are going to be unusable. And until you can present, the entire required documents, we're in a position to not move forward on this application. What Commissioner Opel wanted to give you the opportunity to withdraw your application and preserve your ability to come back before the commission, but that's entirely up to you. If not, we will proceed with our process.
A question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So withdrawing it we can withdraw and then we can come back because it'll be the concept will be this. We're not going to change it. We're not going to reinvent the wheel here. This is a good plan. We determined it just needed some minor tweaks in 2014. We understand the law, the regulations have changed in 2024. So if it's advisable, because we want to produce this for the city of Shelton. So if it's advisable to withdraw and just resubmit with either another engineering group or this engineer who says, yes, we can use it with the proper updates to the 2025 regulations.
Well, we can't advise you. You got to make that
Yeah.
independent
So
decision on
Right.
your own. So you're
So
welcome to do whichever, before we vote, you're welcome to do what you want.
Right. So we'll withdraw, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we can withdraw and then reapply with the required information that Mr. DeGangi put in that letter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think staff has spent a lot of time in communicating the deficiencies, and it's really not so much to protect the commission, but it's to protect the Shelton Housing Authority going forward, that you do have all the i's dotted and the t's crossed.
Yep, we appreciate that information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
So you'll be submitting something in writing to staff advising that you're withdrawing application 2602.
I think the commission can make a vote now to accept the withdrawal.
Right, but you usually need to have something in your file from the applicant that they are withdrawing.
They can, or we can accept it now.
Well, they indicated during the meeting that they're withdrawing. We can acknowledge that. I'm sure that's fine on the record.
If they still need to submit it in writing.
They can follow up.
Okay.
Thank you. Staff will follow up with them.
Motion to accept the withdrawal. Are we doing this now? Or are we waiting for the letter?
We can do this. I'll put it forward. I will put a motion forward to accept the withdrawal of application number 2601.
Right.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who
Any
seconded the
abstaining?
motion?
I'll second it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Still new at this. Next item on the agenda is application 2602. TJ Donahue for Nest Schools at 175 Constitution Boulevard South, Assessors Map 79, Lot 8, within the LIP district to allow a daycare facility under Schedule A, permitted use, line 6C, with outdoor enclosed playground via a special exception application to accept and set a public hearing.
I'll make that motion to accept and set public hearing.
Second.
Ms. Castro, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Apple,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Harger,
Aye.
Chair Cristiano,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay, the application has been accepted and it will be scheduled for a public hearing on our next meeting, which is Wednesday, February 11th. We're moving to other business. Our first item on other business is a bond release request at 275 Coram Road, Clock Tower at Petromont, soil and erosion control for $20,000. Within the file is a letter requesting the release of the bond and a positive referral from our zoning enforcement officer. Does any commissioner have any questions on the release of the bond?
I do not.
Okay, I move to approve the release of the $20,000 bond of soil and erosion bond.
I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Castro, can you conduct a roll call vote?
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Apple,
Aye.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Harger,
Aye.
Chair Cristiano.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is an 824 referral. Within the file is a letter from Kelly Vazano, our administrative assistant to the mayor, requesting the approval of the 824 referral to authorize the purchase of state land Shelton located easterly side of 722 River Road, which is Route 10. The Board of Aldermen had reviewed this during their January 8th meeting and approved contingent on the planning and zoning approval. This parcel of land relates to previously reviewed application for the Great River Water Club on River Road. While this portion of land was not included in the site plan application or reviewed by this commission as part of the development, the developer had petitioned the state to purchase the property. Procedurally, the state first offers the municipality the right of first refusal. Given the time restrictions on making a decision as to whether or not the city has interest in a property, this will grant the city more time to evaluate the need and desire for this parcel of land. I will entertain a motion on this particular matter.
Mr. Chairman, move to support the 824 referral.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
I would like to say I don't understand what this is about, really, and I can't imagine what the city's interest would be in purchasing this particular, from what I understand, very few square feet of property. So there's information here that we don't have, and I'm not comfortable with approving this.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
If I may, I have Kelly Vazano online. I'm gonna allow her to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Chairman, if I can address Commissioner Amato
Certainly.
on that. In discussing this with Corporation Counsel Teodosio, we had discussed potential for infrastructure improvements, or the fact that this property, this small piece, does run right across the road from Murphy's Lane. So it would just give the city time to review the parcel in more detail and more in depth to see if that there is a need for this. Obviously, we have options in the future.
Thank you.
Can I ask Ms. Vazano, how long ago was this brought to the city's attention?
It came, I believe, sometime around mid to late October. The city had 45 days by statute to let the state know that we had interest in it. And then upon that, then we are given, I believe, 60 days to close.
Okay.
Thank you.
And can I just ask Mr. Pizzano, is there any reason why all of a sudden this came down from the state?
The applicant petitioned the state to purchase the property, and we do get a right of first offer
Oh,
by
okay.
statute.
All right.
Isn't that the same thing with the body property on Bridgeport Avenue?
Yeah, it's the same as any
Right.
state property that
Any state property that,
anyone wants to purchase, yes.
right,
Yes.
exactly. And basically, it's just give time to, yeah, I really don't want it, you can have it, but
Correct.
So this is just buying the city some time to do.
that's all it's doing, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I have a motion and I have a second. Ms. Castro, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
No.
Commissioner Apple,
Yes.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Harger,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We are to approval of the minutes from the December 10th minutes. I reviewed the minutes. That was a long meeting. I probably contributed to most of that painful meeting. I apologize. I didn't see anything that
Mr.
I
Chair?
need to change, but Mrs. Commissioner Harger, I'm sure found something.
Yeah, the circumstances were, it was a different format for the meeting, and our recording secretary was not available. I think staff did a commendable job in preparing these, but when I finally got a chance today to go and listen to the YouTube recording and compare it to the transcript, there's some important things in there that were not included, and I think just and up to until the new chair actually called the meeting to order. So I think it's important that if we could table the approval of the minutes so I can sit down or convey the changes that I think are important to be incorporated. And they're too wordy, but it all has to do with the way that the election of officers and who made motions and how the secretary casting one ballot and all that was presented.
Okay, we'll table it until our next meeting on our February meeting.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to table the approval of the minutes of December 10th.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Next is comments from our subcommittees. I believe the only subcommittee we intended to hear from tonight is our smoke shop subcommittee, and alternate Commissioner McGee, I had asked to prepare some information on that subcommittee.
Thank you, Chairman. So the basic update on where we're at, I believe we've been a committee for almost a year now, maybe a little bit under a year. We've been going back and forth, having spirited discussions about what the future of smoke shops in our town should look like. I believe we've come to a good proposal. It's about 6 or 7 pages long. It's currently with staff right now. We have a couple questions that I know Alexandria is working on really hard. And then I believe we need to go to the town attorney to review. But other than that, I believe the intention is to have a public hearing on this next month. And then some of just the highlights of what you'll see when you eventually read the draft regs. It would make a smoke shop a special exception in either a commercial district, a PDD, or a special development area. So what that would mean would be that it would be a special exception. So it would have to go to a public hearing. There are certain density restrictions. It's not a full cap. At least our proposal is not a full cap. Some towns around us are choosing to do that, which would essentially ban any future smoke shops. I think we came to a good compromise with our proposal where we're not banning the future opening of any smoke shops, but we're definitely preventing clustering, which I think was a point of agreement for us on the committee. There's also signage and display limitations. There is a registration requirement with the town, basically just to ensure that not only is the business owner going through our own regulatory requirements, but also the state. And then we were also looking at the possibility of having a way to assess fines on businesses that do not comply with our regulations, although that is still going through staff and town attorney review right now. So that's the basic gist of it. I'm happy to entertain any questions if people have any. I'm sure you will be able to read the full proposal soon. And I just want to preface that if there is questions, I don't want to say anything incorrectly. So if I say, hey, let me get back to you, I apologize in advance, but I want to make sure I'm correct and not speaking out of turn.
Thank you for that summary.
Mr. Chair, I think alternate Commissioner McGee did a very good job of providing us with background information and gave the opportunity for alternate Commissioner, now Commissioner Oppel and I to meet. We did start, our first meeting was April 3rd. And we did sit down together, and I think we had some emails going back and forth. And do we not have a three-way phone conversation one day or something? But yeah, I think it's a positive move for the city.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have any questions or comments, or we're going to wait until we get the draft? Probably makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So move on to staff comments. Ms. Castro, do you have any comments for the commission?
We have a lot of work ahead of us this year. That's all I got. Get ready.
No more like you be ready.
You guys all have committees you were put on, so everybody's busy.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, before you call for the adjournment, can I just mention
Hold on, I
to
gotta
the
get Mr.
Commission?
DeGangi first.
Sure.
Mr. DeGangi, do you have any comments?
No, I have nothing. No, thank you.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Harder, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to relay to the rest of the commission that Chair Cristiano and I were present today up at the Grove, which was the Residence Inn, for their ribbon cutting. And there was a tour of 3 units, a studio, a 1-bedroom, and the 2-bedroom, and the 2-bedroom is the up and down one. They have done a very commendable job. You would not necessarily recognize the place. What I was really shocked to learn was the appliances and the countertops, which look like quartz to me. They definitely weren't Formica. I thought were brand new, and they said no, this is how they were. Everything, I think we were a little concerned at the beginning when we heard the proposal that, well, all they really needed to do was paint. And really, that's all they really need to do. They did put in new flooring, the laminate kind of stuff on the first floor. If there was a townhouse, they did keep wall-to-wall carpeting down for said sound deafening. But they've gotten a number of inquiries from people. And there was actually a young lady that was there that works next door for a speech therapist, and she's moving in this Saturday. So,
Walk to work. That's nice.
Yeah, really, and you know, they said that this is gonna be their flagship um location. There was actually the town planner from Windsor and another gentleman came down. I can't, off the top of my head, think of what his position was, but I think he's on the commission. But they came purposely to see this, and the company does have 4 locations now. And the way this came about was that apparently they were looking, the gentleman and 3 others, there were 3 partners. They were looking through the financial statements for the company that owns the Residence Inn, and they happened to pick something up on the financial statements that the company wanted to divest and dispose of the tier 1 um, Residence Inns, which were like the originals. They didn't want to have that in their portfolio any longer. So they made him a proposal and they took him up on it. And they are under contract to have another one up in Windsor. And there is one that's in the downtown West Hartford area by Blueback Square, that the facility had been a nursing home. And because of some changes in regulations, the nursing home closed and that building became available. So they um, I think have purchased that one already. But I know they were a little concerned too because they did identify themselves as not being based here in the United States, but they all have ties to this area. They went to Ivy League schools. They have a good head on their shoulders, I think. And I think they're bending over backwards to make sure that this is going to be successful. I did ask what kind of background checks they do, and they don't do just the normal credit reporting kind of thing. They do actual background criminal checks. They are very concerned about the tenants that will be there. And I had asked, do you have the right, or do you have it written in their lease as to whether or not you can go in and inspect the units? And he said, yes, we have to give them 24-hour notice, and we will go in probably every 3 months to make sure the mechanicals are still working right and to make sure the smoke detectors or batteries are still good. So they do intend to keep an eye on the property, and I think this is going to be a very good end result for the city.
Thank you, Commissioner Hardray. It was very nice presentation. If anyone, you get the invite, if anyone gets the opportunity to come to some of these, very nice event, seeing our hard work come together. So, seeing we have no more business tonight, I'll call this meeting adjourned at 8:32 p.m.